What is going on, guys? A21 Mayo here, and today I'm bringing episode number 21 of the Viewer VoD Review series. You can find links to all my social media down below, as well as my Patreon if you do want to support me in a different way, as well as a link to my tip video playlist if you are struggling with something else in Rainbow Six Siege. There are high chances I've already made a video on that. With all that being said, let's jump into the VoD itself. Alright, so this VoD was submitted by Unknown. I don't really know his name as of right now. I'm sure I'll know once he gets a kill in the kill feed. So first thing that I'm noticing is you're not really bringing a shield on Womai, you're bringing barbed wire instead when you have the option of, Doc is probably going to bring a barbed wire, Smoke he also might bring a shield, and then Cade and Bandit probably going to bring a nitro. So you only really need one set of barb, one set on the dragon door, and then one set on the split door. So that's kind of something to consider the next time you do play on this bomb site and you are this operator. Kind of pay attention to the secondary utility, and in general make sure you pay attention to secondary utility, because sometimes you might have a lack of barbed wire when you actually do need it and you haven't realized. Getting on cams there, not a very smart move because you're trapped in a corner. They could very easily just run through tellers, gong, maintenance, come down bottom dragon stairs, come from any other way, and you're stuck in a corner. You might even, if they drone you, I mean, it's pretty much a free kill, you know. So something to pay attention to. You always want to be in a fairly safe location when you are on cams. Your team is pretty much just fragging out here. It's a 4v2 now. They are taking vertical pressure, so you can kind of chill on site for right now. You don't really have to worry about much, just kind of hold the doorways. Oh, actually, they opened the yellow wall, so that's something to pay attention to. I'm pretty sure this guy's on white stairs. Or, sorry, yellow stairs. Yeah, he is. The reason I knew that is because the way sound, like, every single sound has its own unique sound cue. So someone walking on metal has a different sound cue than someone walking on wood. There's different sound cues of someone walking on concrete versus a rug or carpet. So it's something to pay attention to give yourself a little bit more information in situations like that. So, again, the reason I knew she was on yellow stairs is because the platform on the yellow stairs is metal. And I heard the metal sound cue of footsteps, so that indicated to me that someone was or the last person was on yellow stairs on the platform. I can't really say much about the first round. You didn't really get much action, so you couldn't really... There wasn't much decision making in that first round, but again, sound propagation, or sorry, not sound cues there of certain footsteps and getting on cams are the two biggest things that I did take away from that, so that's something to take into consideration. Alright, so the second bomb site is Bunk Daycare. Legion is always kind of like a safe pick. Like, he's not bad or good. I mean, he's usually pretty good in most situations. He kind of brings a lot of things to the table, so he's not really a bad pick in a sense. Alright, so you don't really need... Okay, so there you don't really need to put a Legion mine just because there is barbed wire. So that's kind of a wasted goo in my opinion. It'd be better maybe on yellow stairs waiting. A cool trick that you can do with Legion mines is actually put them on window sills, or seals, however you pronounce it. But put it on the window seal. And when someone goes in rappel, they trip the goo and they're unable to take it out on rappel. So they have to get off rappel. Whether they go up or down, they have to get off rappel, take the goo out, and then get back on rappel. So that's a good 10 seconds you can waste on someone's of someone's time. And it's very common on this map and on this bomb site for someone to go on the break rappel. So that's something to take into consideration. That trick is very strong on maps like Console and Cafe, where it's a very rappel heavy map on most bomb sites. So again, something to take into consideration. Also, another thing to take into consider to start doing with trap operators is work exterior to interior. So what I mean by this, we can use this cafe goo that you just threw for an example. So instead of putting it on this door here, what you could do is put it on the single cafe door leading to the outside. Because once you throw the goo here and run back to top arcade stairs, you're allowing the attackers to walk into cafe without you having any intel. Like, they could walk into cafe right now, you have absolutely no idea. The only way you would know is either if you hear them shoot or they trip this goo here that you're about to place. So, especially with Legion and Capcan, kind of work exterior to interior. And that applies to like higher numbered gadget operators like, again, Legion and Capcan. Ella, you only have 3 of them, so there's not much you can really do. But definitely, especially with Legion, kind of try to work exterior to interior, so that way you're not giving the attackers all of this free map control without you having any intel on it.
What's that?
I believe, I don't know. I think it's
I
half.
believe I don't know.
You don't need another goo there. You already put one at the bottom of arcade stairs. Alright, so... So that K, or that Doc, killed the Ash, got a refrag. You kind of whiffed, which is fine. Everyone whiffs, whether you're on console or PC. It happens. But you know that these guys are here. Because not only did you hear the barbed wire break, but you also heard the goo that you put on the arcade window. You heard that detonate. So you should be expecting at least one person to be in this area to your left. And it is unfortunate that you're not really pre-aiming it, which you should have. You whiff a lot on the IQ, and then you whiff on the Ash as well, which kind of just runs across your screen. But your team eventually does get the refrag. You give the call out, which is also really good.
Already inside.
Now you should be getting on cams here, because yeah, the arcade cam is still up, so that's something that you... Okay, so there you go, you're on arcade cam. So the arcade cam is really good because you can see the cross here through these 2 doors. So this is the close daycare door, and then this right here is the far daycare door, and you can hold this entire cross with this cam. So you know, hopefully no one crossed already towards the bunk side over here. But you know, if you see anyone cross this area, you know that they're crossing down the hallway, whichever one it may be. So that's something very important to pay attention to, and kind of the engineering behind this camera in specific, is that you can see both of these crosses here. So very important, if you do die and the bomb site is here or initiation office, it's very important that you're on this cam if you have the option to be on this cam. Alright, so your team actually ended up clutching that round, which is really... good on your end. So you went mute instead of, I believe you went Legion, and then you're going mute. Now you guys are going initiation office, which in my opinion is the best bomb site on this map, just because it has the most versatility out of all of them. There's a lot of different possibilities strategy wise to for this bomb site. There's a lot of different things that you can play around with and aspects of it. So that is why it's my favorite bomb site. So you're making some punch holes on this wall. So it's really important, or it's something that not a lot of people pay attention to, which is you can leave that wall soft as long as you're holding that cross. Just because it's very common for someone to play on the control stack, which is like the little L desk in the middle of control near the window. It's very common for attackers to play that position and hold a head glitch angle. And what allows to happen there when you leave that wall soft is you can swing that soft wall pretty much pre-fire, and if you kind of know where the attacker's at, it's pretty much a free kill. If you just aim head level, hold mouse 1, and you have a pretty low recoil weapon with a decent bit of ammo, you're most likely gonna get a kill. So leaving that wall soft it's very common, to be honest with you, especially in higher ranks. Alright, you're playing way too passive in this gunfight. Yeah, you were playing way too passive. So, firstly, So you saw her hot drop, you should immediately take out your shotgun. Because in this range, it's very important you understand what situations you're in when you are in them. It might be very hectic at times, but it's very important that you pay attention to small things. Like the fact that you have one of the best shotguns in the game at killing people, and this IQ is a 1 armor. So that means at pretty much in this range here, the shotgun, especially ADS, is very, very effective. You will at least injure her halfway through the room. Now, once she goes back towards the dragon door and top dragon side, it's going to do much less damage. But IQ is a 1 armor, so mute and smoke shotgun is very, very effective against 1 armor operators. So as soon as you see her hot drop, you should immediately take out the shotgun. And if she's taking a long range gunfight, that's up to you not to peek. You shouldn't be peeking if you don't need to, which you don't need to. You can play the close range here. So as soon as you see her hot drop, what I would have done if I were you, I would whip out the shotgun, hold the angle, maybe close, and if I could, maybe take a little bit of range away from the target, just because, as you can see, both of you are whiffing, which is common on controller, just because you don't have the consistency of a keyboard and mouse. So it'd be a lot easier for you to hold not a long angle, but space yourself a little bit from the door. Just because you don't have that immediate reaction, you're limited by the joysticks of the controller itself. So you can't flick, which, as you saw, the IQ is wide swinging over and over, and you had to compensate every single time because you were pre-aiming too little, and she was over swinging your pre-aim. She was going through your crosshair and past it pretty much. So you can kind of take a couple steps back, hold a more parallel angle, and take the shotgun gunfight instead of going prone, ADSing, things like that. Because that whole gunfight, you were pretty much on the door, and that's what lost you the gunfight, is because you kept having to you kept having to flick, which again, you're limited by the joysticks on the controller. So it's it's much more challenging to do that instead of on a keyboard and mouse. So it's something to take into consideration to all controller players, really. The least amount of adjustment for the controller, like for the joysticks, is the best. Just because, like, if that IQ keeps swinging over, out, you're going to have to eventually start moving instead of looking. Because the joystick on the controller simply can't keep up with that speed of an operator. Alright, so a 2-1 split on Theme Park going to the attacking side is not bad at all. During the selection phase, which obviously I edited out, you were kind of indecisive of your operator pick, but you eventually went with Thermite, which is good. You do have the Maverick on board, which is also good, but you wanted to secure that hard breach potential with the Thermite, so I understand your thought process there. You don't really need any more frag heavy ops because, again, you do have the Thermite to rely on as a crutch. So this Mav can play a little bit more loose. And then obviously you have operators like IQ, Sledge, and Zofia, so those are also very frag heavy ops. If they need to be. So going Thermite there is not a bad decision at all. Now the defensive lineup, you're not seeing any intel ops, so IQ is not gonna be completely useless because they do have the Bandit and the Legion, but IQ is IQ right now in the current ranked meta, I guess, is pretty much just bring her for her gun, which is the G8. So you're droning for the Sledge, which is on Repel, and he gets completely slapped off the game. That's crazy. So I'm not sure. I know you're queued with someone, but I'm not sure who it is. Now, the thing about what's happening right now is I'm pretty sure the bomb site is Throne Armory. Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, no, I think the bomb site is Office Initiation. Yeah, it is. Sorry. Excuse me. You need to move, actually, because this IQ just put a breaching charge on the castle barricade. So, as soon as you see this IQ, I mean, obviously you can see her clear as day. She's putting down a breaching charge on this castle barricade going into waiting, which is a very heavy traffic area for the defenders. So, definitely reposition here, maybe go behind the hard wall here or to the left. just so you can be that much more secure. Because, I mean, what's going to stop a ranked player from wide swinging this and getting a 1-bullet headshot? I mean, 1-bullet headshots happen more often than you think. Like, it's very, like, someone could just wide swing waiting door as soon as this IQ opens it. Shit. The defender might even be fighting the IQ and one stray bullet just hits you in the head. So, definitely something to pay attention to is that IQ. Don't make simple mistakes like that can be avoided, because one of these days you're going to make a simple mistake that you know can be avoided and you're going to die to it and you're going to feel like an idiot. Because everyone's been there, and it's the difference between you learning from that mistake or you not learning from it and you keep doing the same simple mistakes over and over. So like right now, again, like someone could have just wide swung that breach, you know. So you don't need to go yellow because you have the Maverick. Cav is on yellow. You don't need to go yellow because if you're paying attention to the scoreboard bar up at the top here, the only wall denial that they have is a bandit. So what you can do is there's a drone hole in break room that leads to initiation. So what you could have done in this situation, which maybe you do, I haven't watched the full round yet, but you can take your drone from break room into initiation, figure out where the bandit batteries are at, communicate to the Maverick, hey, Maverick on my ping, or Maverick the far left, the middle of the wall, wherever the bandit batteries may be. So that way, the chances of you getting shot in the feet are much lower just because you made one simple Mav hole. And then thermite the wall. That's all you have to do. Maybe he tricks the first charge, okay, the Maverick makes a bigger hole, he holds the angle, and then he thermite the wall successfully. This is the difference between you communicating an easy job instead of thinking you're forced to go a different route just because there's wall denial on a wall. This is a very important situation here that you most likely are going to skip over, and the situation could be dealt very easily as long as you understand what kind of utility you can bring to the table between you and the Maverick. So you're thinking you're forced to go one direction when actually you can go in the direction you want to. It's just all about paying attention to little things like this. Alright, so you hear someone in vault, you pre-fire. It is the doc, you get a nice headshot into him. Okay, so they don't have any wall denial in yellow, which is fine. So you know the Cav is roaming. Now she has two options. She probably went down yellow and might go up. Arcade stairs, which you're holding right now. You guys have a minute left, which is a lot of time. So she could either go up arcade or go up dragon, or maybe even flank back up yellow. Who knows? And one thing I just picked up on when I was explaining the whole Maverick, Thermite, and Bandit situation, Bandit was dead, so there's no way he could actually even trick the wall. That's something that I just realized. So you're in a 1v2 situation, 35 seconds left. You still have a drone. So you don't necessarily need to face check right now. One thing to do... Yeah, so... One thing that a lot of people skip over in clutch situations is they always forget about their drone. They're far too scared to drone. They feel like they might be swung because they don't have accurate intel on someone or whatever it may be. But you're in a 1v2 situation, so there's only two places that the defenders could be in. It's not a 1v5, it's a 1v2. So use your drone. You had about 40 seconds there to drone, and then eventually take a gunfight. And another thing to do in clutch situations is take your 1v1 engagements. So to go even further into the point of topic of me saying you need to use your drone in clutch situations, what that will allow you to do is you will at least get 50% accurate intel on someone, because at some point your drone's probably going to get shot, especially when you're droning the bomb site. I mean, where else are the defenders going to be? They're probably both not going to be flanking. It is a possibility, but the chances of that are very, very low if they truly do want to win the round. So you're going to have 50% accurate intel on half of... You're going to have 50% out of 100% accurate intel out of the two defenders. So you're going to know where one person's at, and you don't know where the other person's at. So it's something that you need to react on as soon as your drone gets shot or you have intel on someone. You need to take the 1v1 engagement so that way you're not caught in a crossfire, or someone might be around the corner when you kill someone else and you get swung and you get shot in your left, your right, your back, wherever it may be. So drone there in that situation, figure out where this castle is because he's probably sitting in this corner and waiting. Drone him, wide swing him, maybe kill him, you die, whatever it may be, but take that gunfight. If you win it, that's great. Now you're in a 1v1. Now you need to figure out where the cav is at, so that's a process of elimination by that point, or you can get back on the drone if it is still alive. But definitely take your 1v1 engagements in clutch situations when it is a situation like a 1v2 like this. Because these situations may seem helpless, but they're actually a lot more winnable than you think if you just know how to react to them. Alright, so a 2-2, 2-2 on the scoreboard bar. You ended up going Zofia instead of Thermite. Not really sure why. Maybe you just kind of felt like your team didn't really do their job and you kind of need to take over that fragging side of things. Not too sure why. Okay, so you know they have a castle or the pulse because they have the 1911. So it's probably going to be a castle again, would be my guess, just because they brought the castle last round. And I'm also going to guess that it's going to be Throne Armory because you just saw someone drone out Bunk's office, or sorry, Bunk's daycare. So that pretty much tells you that they're not going to be drug, just because nobody really knows how to play drug currently in the ranked meta. And Throne Armory is the most pick bomb site on the map. So that would be my guess, but we will just have to wait and see. Back to my point of the 1911 though. Oh, are they daycare? I believe they are. Yeah, they are. Okay, so I'm getting the bomb sites all mixed up right now. But as I was going to say, you know that they have a pulse or a castle based off the sound of the 1911. So once you start playing the game more and more and kind of learning sound cues and things like that, you'll kind of you'll learn what every single gun sounds like, and you'll know what operators have that weapon. Because some DLC ops right now, they have the same recycled weapon. So that's probably gonna be a bandit, castle / pulse, and a legion. So one of those two operators. So I'm not sure who that was. Now the last one's Legion, and the buck went crazy that round, so you didn't really do much. You were pretty much droning, which is good, given solid intel, showing some pings, stuff like that. Okay, so that was a good round by your teammate. Good droning by you as well. You were giving solid intel on that bandit there, so you did what you did to help aid that buck in those gunfights. Alright, match point 3-2 in the rounds. Now you're going to check downstairs Throne Armory. No one's down there, so you know at least one out of the three bomb sites are eliminated. So it's probably going to be Bunk Day. Yeah, it is Bunk Daycare again. You end up going Nomad instead. I'm not sure why, because usually when you're playing ranked, it's kind of an adjustment thing. It's a lot more of an adjustment thing than kind of picking up. I mean, obviously you want to pick operators that you like playing and that are fun and you enjoy. But bringing a flank watcher is kind of more or less just kind of an adjustment. So like, say the Vigil last round, maybe he went on a huge flank and killed 4 of your teammates. That's kind of the point of where you want to bring a flank watcher potentially. And you don't even really need to bring a flank watcher. I mean, you can set drones on flanks and things like that. So I'm not too sure why you went Nomad. There's really no reason unless you simply just want to play her, as I said. Maybe you enjoy her gun, her utility, whatever it may be. But that's just how I look at it, at least. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play her or whatever. I'm just saying I'm basically trying to understand your thought process. Alright, so the IQ gets an early pick on the Vigil. That's very, very good. That's probably their dedicated roamer off the board, so that can kind of alleviate some pressure towards your team. And another another thing that I'm noticing that's really good is your droning before you enter rooms, and you're kind of making sure everything's clear. Just so you don't... Oh, that's a free kill. What are you doing? Yo. Get off your drone. Okay, so you're droning, which is really good. So I need to pause it because I have a few things to go over here. So, firstly, let me finish my thought on the droning. So you're droning, but when this cav does eventually flank and you see her flanking, you need to be calling her active position every single room and every single step she takes. Because you say, somewhere around here when you see the cav, flanking. You're not saying where she's flanking from. You're not saying where she's going and where she is currently. That's something that you need to do to take your comms to the next level. Because you're calling out to everyone or someone in your lobby or someone in your game chat, whatever it may be. Flanking. You're not saying the operator. You're not saying where from. You're not saying the current position. And you're not saying the destinated position. So those are 4 crucial things in callouts that you're skipping completely over. You're relying so much on the ping that it's basically muting your callouts. You're crutching on the red ping of pinging enemies on a drone or on a camera. So that's something you need to get out of your mind, and it's something that you need to eliminate to take your calls to the next level. Because if you want to have really good, consistent, and precise callouts, you need to be as accurate as you can with callouts as humanly possible. So when you see the cav, say cav top dragon, going into cache, going into bathroom, going into office. Just so that way it gives your teammates a little bit more of a solid picture of where she is and where she is going. So you need to be calling out active location and things like that, the 4 things that I named. Good thing that you're droning as heavily as you are and making sure everything's clear. But if you just call flanking, and this Habana or whoever killed the cav, if they didn't take and win the gunfight, then this cav could have come out with a huge flank. Now, the second thing I wanted to cover in this specific situation is the fact that she, by this point, I'll pause it when you see the cav. So right here. So you see the cav, and you see her dart into cache. You're right side out of cache room. I mean, lining up that wallbang there or even dealing damage is very important. You need to get off your drone immediately, as pretty much right at this point right here, you need to get off your drone and start spamming the cache door. Because let's say she gets into bathroom office, and again, whoever kills this cav here, they lose the gunfight. That could have been avoided if you even dealt 10 HP or 20 HP, 30 HP to the cav, making the chances of winning the gunfight versus the cav versus your teammates that much higher. You're giving your teammates a little bit more of an advantage, which could mean the difference between your teammate winning the gunfight and the cav winning the gunfight. So it is your responsibility. She is in your domain. You're droning office cache for a reason, because you eventually want to take it, right? So this is your domain. If anyone walks into your domain, you need to either eliminate them or make them leave. Those are the only 2 options. And right now, you're letting her walk all over your domain and what you want to control as an attacker. So this is something that you need to start doing when you play more ranked or whatever it may be. This is definitely something that you need to heavily consider about your playstyle and your gameplay. Yeah, see, look, this Habana... Oh, sorry. Sorry, the cav actually didn't die. It was the Capcan who died. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. You allowed her to cross through cache, into bathroom, into office, and then she came back around after getting the Habana to roughly 25 HP and injures you. So not only is the Habana 20 HP, the IQ is around 15 HP, and hopefully your teammates can kill this cav, you're going to be 20 HP. So, I mean, that's a very easy gunfight for this bandit with a high fire rate weapon to win. And then also the Maverick, I mean, he's almost full HP. But you could have avoided all of this mess right here if you just got off your drone immediately and controlled your area of the map, or call out exactly where the cav is and is going to be. These are things that you could have avoided simply by making correct decisions, which hopefully after watching this VoD review, you do take those decisions to heart and you apply them to yourself in your gameplay. So the cav kills the Hibana. So the Mav kills the cav. Good refrag. Now he's coming to pick you up. That is also good. The IQ isn't understanding what's going on in the current situation. And she tries to take sight. And she ends up dying. So right now, you guys have 1 minute and 20 seconds left. You have 3 flashbangs and a drone. You also have 3 nomads, but nomads aren't really going to do much for the gunfight part of it. You could lock down flanks and things like that, but you have 3 flashes and a drone. So that's very good. I think you might even have 2 drones, the one that you left at office when you were droning the cav. So what you need to communicate to the Mav is, hey, I'm going to drone out this bandit. You are going to trade my death. That's what you need to do. It's a sentence. It's very easy to get out. That's all you need to call out by this point. And hopefully, you guys don't botch this situation. You don't worry about air jabs. There's no way this bandit is going to flank. And if he is going to flank, throw down your drone and say, hey, watch flank drone. Last on list. Every time you throw a drone is going to be the last drone on the list. So right now, if I pause it, as you can see, the last drone on the list is the drone that you currently just threw down. So you simply throw the drone down. It doesn't even have to look in the area because they can play off sound. You can say, hey, last drone on list, someone get on it, flank drone. Very easy. But you do start droning, which is good. Hopefully you find the bandit. Now you need to check break room. Okay, so that's something huge that you're completely missing out. So firstly, you need to drone into break room, and once you go into this hallway, this is a crucial piece of information. So let's just say he is in break room. This wall here not being reinforced is huge. Or sorry, this wall not having a rotate on it is huge. Because if he is in there, the only option he has to rotate out is either jump out the window and go through barrels, or lobby, or take the gunfight and try to rotate through the door. So definitely don't miss drone him because he could be ratting out very easily. Which hopefully you do. Okay, so you do take your drone in there. He isn't in there. So that's good. You're checking all your corners, all your rat corners. He's hallway, you're pinging. Now, again, you need to be calling out. You need to be calling out his location. Because you cannot rely on a red ping every single round, every single game. That's just not how it's going to work. Once you start playing against better players, you're going to get slammed because you might be pinging, but it's up to your teammates by that point to look around their screen, do a whole 360, 180, whatever it is, to figure out where the red ping is at. You could be saying flank, flank, flank all day long, but there could be 4 staircases on the map and they don't know exactly what flank is going on. So something you need to do with your communication is call out active locations. That's very important. You saw him. He's on the left side. He's close left. Alright, so this is not good. Again, what I said about this being a 2v1 situation, you need to be playing with your teammate. You need to be playing with your teammate because he can refrag off of you. If you die, that's fine. As long as the Mav does the job of refragging you, that's fine. Okay, so you're calling out accurately, which is good. This bandit can see the Mav's weapon barrel if he pays close enough attention, which, I mean, the graphics are lower on PC, or sorry, console, so maybe they don't render in or whatever it may be, but yeah, if someone's sitting here, you can definitely see their gun barrel if you pay enough attention. You guys won by time anyway.
Oh, we might have lost that.
No, you guys won. Alright, so that's good. I mean, you won by time, but that was a very sloppy situation which could have ended much, much worse if this Mav lost the gunfight or the bandit was 2 seconds earlier there killing the Mav. I mean, it could have gone completely south. But to break down that situation again, play for the refrag. You maybe I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, so you're queued with this guy actually. So by the crown here. You're queued with him, so I'm assuming you're in a game chat with him, like a private. I don't know what it's called anymore. Like a game chat or something. Like you both join a lobby outside of the game. You're not using in-game voice. So you need to be communicating to him. Hey, refrag my death. That's all you need to say. Give accurate intel where the bandit is, and then go about your business, and hopefully he refrags you. But you trying to engage that bandit, if you're going to engage onto him, now that gunfight was very specific because he's stuck in a corner. And I know you're scared to take the gunfight because you're 20 HP, but again, it goes back to the IQ and you being mute situation when the IQ is in control. You need to understand what situation you're in. So you're 20 HP, the bandit is a 1 armor, and the MP7 is a gun that absolutely shreds anyone. So all he needs to do is hit 1 bullet on a very high fire rate weapon. So the chances of him doing that are very, very high, simply because, again, it takes 1 bolt to kill you, and it's a high fire rate weapon, and it's close range. So he already has 3 things going for him. The only thing you have going for yourself is the fact that you have accurate and precise intel on him. So if you're not going to play aggressive, definitely don't play passive in that situation, because he's literally stuck in a corner. You could prone kill him, you could prone peek him, but the most important thing there is if you're going to try to take the gunfight, you have to be the aggressor, because he has 3 things going for him that are very strong in his situation. And you don't have much going for you. You have a slow fire weapon. It does a lot of damage. But the fact that you're 20 HP pretty much means that any gunfight you take, you're probably going to lose. So you need to be the aggressor. You need to catch him off guard instead of him catching you off guard, which is what happened when you died to him. So that is something you need to pay attention to. In that situation, what I would have done personally, I would have probably crouch peeked him and pre-fired. I would have at least dealt the most amount of damage if I'm going to engage in the gunfight. That is what I would have done in that situation. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up the VOD. I hope you enjoyed. Swipe the fox. So on defense, understand what situations you're in and what weaponry you have versus other operators. Definitely take that into consideration. Positioning and specifically positioning in gunfights. And pretty much the same thing on attack. Understand what situations you're in. Maybe aim train a little bit more because you were whiffing a lot of very easy shots. Situational awareness. Again, positioning, as I said, but specifically positioning in gunfights. Take those into consideration. Watch the VOD a few times if you have to, because there's a lot of important topics and points that I went over that you might not understand the first time you watch the VOD. So if you don't understand something the first time, maybe you'll understand it in the second, third time. Because those were very specific and in-depth points that I went over. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate the support. And hey, maybe slap that notification bell for all my future uploads. As I said at the beginning of the video, there are links to all my social media down below, as well as my Patreon if you do want to support me in a different way. And check out my tip video playlist if you are struggling with something else in Rainbow Six Siege. There are high chances I've already made a video on that topic. That's going to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.